In this video, I want to do a income report for the month of November and show you all my sales and royalties and income for merch on demand, Etsy, ebooks, audiobooks, and even share with you some income streams I don't really talk to you about too much that I also want to share with you. Hello everyone, my name is Mike. I'm a full-time print on demand seller. I make YouTube videos showing you how to make more money on merch on demand and Etsy. If you like this kind of content, you get any value out of this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and like the video. Now, usually I would share with you my sales from yesterday, but since this is an income report video, I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. So here we are on merch, and merch is usually my number one highest income stream. But this month was actually one of my worst months of the year. It was actually my second worst month. January was the worst. This was my second, which is kind of odd because November is Q4 and it's usually a really big month. Let's go ahead and just dive in here and take a look at how I ended up doing. So I did 733 sales, 75 returns, $1,290 in royalties, and my average royalty per sale was 176. This is actually down. I remember last month I think it was like almost 250. And here are my averages for the day. So I was averaging 24 sales a day. I was averaging 2 to 3 returns a day, and my average royalties were 43, which is almost half of what I usually do. Usually I do about like $90 to $100 a day. So it was kind of a tough pill to swallow. And I was trying to understand like why. And I think it's just because of the niches I'm in. The months that I've had like big months is because I've been like it was in like like August, September. I was in like back to school months, and then also, Father Day niches. I did really well in those. So I think that's why. I think it's just the niches that I'm in. If I take a look at my stats from last year, actually the same thing happened. So for some reason, November, December, January, and February are all like right around $1,500. You see that? You see how they're all like 1,500, and then all the other months are like 2,500, 2,500. 3,000. Like you had some good months right here. 3,000. So the same thing happened to me last year. So I guess I just gonna have to get used to it. And I'm gonna have to probably just expect that, December is probably gonna be the same as well. So I'm not gonna stress it too much. But let's go ahead and also take a look at my ads, because I do run ads, but I did actually cut out a lot of ads. I was spending like $500 a month on ads, but now you can see for November only 167. So if we take 167 and we minus it by this amount right here, you're going to see like I profited, just over $1,000. All right. So those are my stats for merch. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Etsy. All right, so here we are on my Etsy dashboard, and on Etsy, I did have a really good November, so that was good to see. This is why I always like to preach on this channel to, diversify yourself. I don't just want to have all my designs just on merch. I want to have on Etsy and, have as many income streams as possible, so that in case I have a bad month on merch, I have the possibility to have a good month on Etsy. So right here, we're going to see I did $4,292 in revenue. Now that is revenue, not profit. I profit. Now I'd probably say with like all the PNG files that I'm selling, and that I also cut out all my ads. I don't run ads anymore. I used to do $15 a day, but I'm just tired of giving Etsy, $450, $500 a month for basically nothing. So I cut those ads out. So I'd probably say I maybe do around like, this is an approximate, I'd say maybe around like maybe 50%, especially with the PNG files and the wallet that I'm selling, because I basically get almost all of that. Etsy just takes a small amount of fee. So I'm, guessing maybe somewhere right around like $2,000. We can see here my best day was on November 25th. And what's kind of odd is that actually last year, my best day of November was also November 25th. You can see here I did 416 last year. So I don't know what it is about November 25th on Etsy, but I was actually down 12% for revenue, but I still think my profit was probably actually more this year than last year. Conversion rate 3.1. That increased. Orders increased 16%. This is all from the PNG files, because I've been really focused on those as of late. And then visits was also up 14%. So really happy with Etsy. Seeing my merch sales, basically cut in half was a little depressing, but getting all these sales really made me happy on Etsy, and didn't make it was a lot easier. Made it a lot easier to swallow, those bad sales on merch. So this is how I did for Etsy. And then the next income stream that I have is SKOOL, and I just really like SKOOL. I love the platform, the interface. It just works really well. So if you don't know what SKOOL is, it's basically like paid Facebook groups. And my SKOOL is only $24 a month, and I basically give people niches and prompts for both merch on demand and Etsy. And if we go to my settings here, we can see that for the payouts right here, there's 4 payouts, so they pay out once a week every Friday. So November 26th, 19th, 12th, and the 5th. Here you can see what I ended up making. And if you add those up, it's somewhere around like $700. But, for the amount of work, I just do, maybe like 3 to 4 posts a day, engage. And I really like it because I get to, talk with the members and stuff like that. So I think this is a really cool platform. And this is one of my favorite income streams that I have. So that is SKOOL. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the next one, which is going to be audiobooks. So here we are on Authors Republic, and Authors Republic is where I like to sell my audiobooks. Now there's other websites like these aggregator ones where you basically just upload your audiobook and they will send it out to all the audiobook retailers like Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, things like that. But Authors Republic is one that I've always used. I've used them for I don't know how many years now. But here we can see my sales dashboard and my earning comparisons. Now this kind of a black gray line is from 2024 for last year. And we can see here that last year I was actually doing really, really well. I had a horror collection book that just kind of went viral. And every like 3 months, every quarter, I was getting these big, $1,400, $1,500, $1,600 payouts. But then I don't know what happened. I guess it just kind of fell off because this year has not been that good for me. I've been having kind of smaller months like 168. 92, that was really bad, and then 405. And what I've noticed with Authors Republic, they have like 2 small payments and then 1 like big payment. So I think it's like the retailers that they send the books out to like pay maybe like on a quarterly basis. That's what I'm just assuming here. But last month we could see here from the orange line, I did 528, which is still pretty good. And I just love audiobooks because it's so hands off. I don't have to do anything. I don't do any like advertising. I just basically just use SEO metadata to have my books found. And it's just so hands off. It's basically just set and forget. And the type of books that I publish are short horror stories, short romance, and short erotica. Those are the niches that have done well for me. I've also done like some nonfiction, like cooking, gardening books as well. I also but a couple months ago, I actually self-published a nonfiction ebook using ChatGPT. I started to get some sales, and I've even been using AI narrators to actually narrate some of these books. I didn't know how that was going to go, but I actually started getting some sales on some of my romance ones that I translate into other languages. So audiobooks are very cool because it's just so diverse. You can there's so many niches. You can translate them. Now you can use AI. So I'm going to continue doing audiobooks. And I know I said I was going to make a course about this, and I promise you guys one day I will do it. It's just so many things on my plate right now. But these are my sales for audiobooks. Let me know if you have any questions about audiobooks. I can try and help you guys out. But just really cool way to make money online. The only bad part with audiobooks is that there's kind of a higher cost. You have to pay I guess now with AI, but for like romance fiction books, you have to, or I pay I pay the ghostwriter $100 a book. Or actually, I'm sorry, I'm actually paying less, $75 for the romance books. But now with AI, maybe you can just use ChatGPT instead. So pretty cool income stream, audiobooks. Check it out. And these are my stats. All right, so those 4 income streams are my main income streams: Merch on Demand, Etsy, SKOOL, and Authors Republic. But now I just want to share with you some other income streams I don't really talk about too much. Now, the reason I don't talk about these ones too much is because they don't make me that much money. These are more kind of like around the $20 to $100 type of income. And these next 4 that I'm going to show you are just mainly for ebooks. That's actually how I started to make money online, was with ebooks. And then after like a couple of years, I jumped into the print on demand space. But here is my income for Drafted Digital. Now, Drafted Digital is also an aggregator, but this is just mainly for ebooks. I think now they will do audiobooks, but I always just done my ebooks here. And basically we could see that here are my stats for the year. So usually I do 61, 70, 44, 62. But what I started doing last month or over the summer, I started taking all of my ebooks and translating them with ChatGPT. And I translated them to German, to French, to Spanish, and to Portuguese. And what I noticed is I started getting sales mainly just in German. For some reason, there's a market for ebooks for on Amazon and on Apple. So I started getting a bunch of German sales. Every now and then I get some French ones too. We can see here I had a big month in October. did almost $90. And what's cool is I don't have to pay anything. Well, I have to pay ChatGPT $20 a month to translate it for me, but that's it. If you were to hire a translator on like Fiverr, they are super expensive, and with ChatGPT now, it just makes everything so easy. And so here are my stats for Drafted Digital. And last month we could see for November I did $65, which is not bad. I will take it. So that is pretty cool. And then the next one is Publish Drive, which is also basically the same thing as Drafted Digital, but I don't like Publish Drive anymore. Their website is just it's confusing. Their interface sucks, so I don't even upload with them anymore. But I used to, like many years ago, and I still have books that just make me $100 a month. So that's really cool. That's just going to get direct deposited into my bank account sometime next week. So I will take that. But again, if you do get into ebooks, I would recommend Drafted Digital over Publish Drive all day. Drafted Digital is just so much easier. Publish Drive is just confusing in my opinion. Then we have Babel Cube. This is also another income stream for ebooks, and I used to use this all the time. This is basically for translated books. You would upload your ebook, and then a translator, another person would actually translate it for you, and then you'd basically just split the royalties. Now with ChatGPT, I don't even use these guys anymore, but they still make me, but Babel Cube still makes money every month. And here we can see I did $40 last month. Again, I've totally forgot about this website. I don't even log into it or basically check it. Just every month I'll get a notification from PayPal that I made like $40, $50. Usually that's what I do, like $40, $50 each month. And then the last one is going to be KDP. I used to do really good on KDP, but not so much anymore. But here are my stats for November, as we could see, $20. And again, this is just from me translating my ebooks, my horror books, my romance books into German and French, and actually getting sales. Because to be honest, when I publish an ebook, like a horror book or a romance book, and I upload onto Amazon in English, it rarely ever sells because I think there's just so much competition. I had to start thinking like outside the box. The main reason why I publish ebooks is just so I can get into an audiobook, because that's where I can make the money. But here's what I did. So if we add those all up, that's 20 there, and that's 40 there, 100 there. So I don't know, somewhere around maybe like $200, $300. That's just going to get direct deposited into my bank account. So I will take it. All right, now let's take a look at 4 more income streams that I have, kind of random ones. So I have a Creative Fabrica shop. You probably know what Creative Fabrica is. It's basically a place where people go to get digital downloads for t-shirt designs, tumbler wraps, all types of digital download designs and products. And I actually had my best month ever on Creative Fabrica. Usually I do like $50 a month, $100. I haven't even really been uploading that much to it. But this month I had some trending designs just kind of go, I guess, viral, and I ended up doing $189. Usually if I would have a big month on Creative Fabrica, it's just because I was doing affiliate marketing, but I haven't even been promoting my shop or anything like that. I just had these basically some 6-7 designs that just went crazy. So, $200, I will take it. The only thing is that I stopped uploading like halfway through the month because I saw a bunch of people were just taking my designs from Creative Fabrica and just uploading them onto Etsy. So that was annoying, because then I had to start like messaging them saying, don't do that, take it down, blah, blah, blah. And I don't really like doing the policing thing because I'm just never going to win. But if you don't know, because some people, and I didn't know this either, if you don't know, you're not allowed to take, PNG files, t-shirt designs from Creative Fabrica and just upload them onto Etsy and sell them as yourself. So if you're doing that, don't do it. It can get you in trouble. But hey, almost $200 on Creative Fabrica. That is pretty cool. And the next one is going to be PAYHIP. So PAYHIP is where I sell my prompts. If you go to the link in the description, there's going to be a link to purchase prompts. So I make prompts on Ideogram and then I sell them. And we can see here for November 1st, November 30th, I ended up doing $17. So to be honest, I wasn't really promoting that much my prompts or creating that many prompts, but did get some sales, so $17.50. So if you did buy any of my prompts, thank you. I appreciate it. And then we also have, this is a new income stream that I'm actually really liking. It hasn't really taken off yet, but I'm getting sales. So this is, what's it called? Adobe stock. So this is where you sell like actual photos, and I'm just using AI to do this. There's basically no cost except for, I have to pay Ideogram to actually get the images downloaded or created. But right here, we're going to see, I did 23 sales, $17. And what I've seen from like people on YouTube is that, it kind of takes them a while to actually, get sales. So I've just been using like what I know from, merch on demand to, get these sales like this. So here we could see, for November, how I ended up doing. And then the last one, am I even still recording? Okay, yeah, sorry. I'm using this new Loom thing right here. I switched video screeners. So just checking that. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at YouTube. So if we go to YouTube right here, this is another income stream that I have. I'm gonna be honest. YouTube has been a grind for me. It hasn't really taken off as much as I would like to, especially when I see other creators and I see their income on YouTube in the thousands. Here you can see I only made $20. Now I am going to start putting out a lot more content. So hopefully this can bump up, but this is just straight from ads. So people who watch my YouTube videos, they have to watch an ad before or in the middle. And, this is what I get from that. Now I am doing almost $5 for 1,000 views. The only problem, I'm just not getting enough views. I'll do like 500 views, 1,000 views. Cause if you think about it, if I could do like, 10,000 views on a video, that would be like $50. If I can make $50 on making one YouTube video, that would be freaking awesome. But this is what I'm doing. Oh, and here are the shorts. So the shorts, you basically make like pennies. You can see here only like 10 cents. But I am still doing a lot of shorts, one a day, at least one a day, sometimes two, because these help get people to subscribe to my channel, which take them to the longer form content, which can hopefully bump up my views, which will hopefully get more money. All right, so those are all my income streams. And if I add all of them up, I probably did what I always do, which is right around 4,000 to 5,000. Towards the end of this month, I'm going to be putting out my goals for 2026. So that's going to be exciting. The main goal is just finally to get to $10,000 a month. I've had that goal for so many years now, but I'm not going to quit until I get it. So just going to keep plugging away here. Comment below. Let me know, how were your sales for merch for Etsy? Do you have any other income streams? Do you have questions about these income streams? Let me know. I'm always looking for new income streams because I just love being super diverse on the internet and having as many income streams as possible. Because I will be honest, I have had other income streams that have been shut down. I have been terminated. I've had accounts closed. I've gotten just random emails saying, sorry, but your account is over. That's the only kind of bad part with the internet, unless you have your own website, which I don't, like a Shopify. I don't have that much control, so I will admit that does kind of keep me up at night. But that's why I just try to spread myself out as much as possible, diversify myself, and just have as many income streams as possible. All right, so that's going to be the video for today. Let me know what you think. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Adios.